Hello, my name is Tyler Lypkie. I'm a lawyer practicing here at Edmonton, Alberta. Our firm is called Lypkie Henderson, and one of our areas of focus is in the area of employment law. And I'm very proud of the fact that over the last several years, we've helped literally hundreds of Albertans through a whole variety of employment law situations, from the very simple to frankly, very complicated matters. But today I want to focus on what's probably the most common question that people ask, and simply put is this a fair severance package? You know, every day people are laid off from their jobs, sometimes for performance reasons, sometimes just because the business is downsizing, but it happens all the time, and very frequently they're presented with a severance package, if you will. And generally what that means is their employer is willing to pay them a certain sum of money in return for them signing a release. And obviously connected to that is, well, is this proper? Is the amount of money they're offering, is that appropriate given my circumstances? And first of all, I'd like to say that there's a lot more in play than just the financial dollar. Now that's really important, and I'll get back to that in a moment, but there's a whole host of other issues to consider. For example, how will that be taxed? I mean, are there any ways to minimize or even eliminate the tax that's paid on a severance payment? Are there ways of spreading the payment through different taxation years, for example? How is this severance payment and the termination of your employment going to impact your insurance, your disability insurance, your medical benefits? How will it impact your pension? How will it impact your ability to find a new job? These are all very serious concerns, and part of what we do when evaluating severance packages is to go over these different issues that you may not have considered. You know, having said that, the main concern often does come back to dollars and cents, and frankly, how much are you going to get, and are you accepting a deal that's fair, or is there a lot more left on the table? And the question is, well, you know, is what's being offered, is it fair? You know, and what it comes down to is it's very individualized. It very much depends on your age. It depends on how long you've been working with your employer. It depends on the nature of your work. I mean, are you in a job that's very common? You know, are you easily able to find new employment, or are you in a very niche field where you're the only one in the province who perhaps does this type of work? There's probably about 15 to 20 factors in total that impact what is, if you will, a fair severance package. So it's very individualized, and that's why a large portion of our work is sitting down with individuals and letting them know what is a fair severance and whether they're getting what's considered a reasonable deal under the circumstances. And if that's the case, many people after receiving our advice will accept those deals, but their eyes will be wide open when they're doing that. They'll have no regrets later down the road, or they may decide, you know, that perhaps their employer isn't giving them the best offer, and they may then return, often with our assistance, to secure a much improved severance offer. So those are, you know, things to consider. And one thing I note from our experience, and it makes sense. I mean, if you think about your negotiations in just day-to-day life, you buy a house, you go buy a new car, you're negotiating. And in any negotiation, the first offer is rarely the best offer. And I believe very strongly that applies in a severance type situation, which is fundamentally a negotiation. So you know, be hesitant, I would suggest, to accept the first offer your employer is making. And certainly before you do accept it, you want to make sure that you're fully aware of what they're putting on the table and whether that's fair given your circumstance. So with that in mind, if you are in a situation where you've just received a severance offer, please give our office a call. I'd be happy to sit down with you and discuss your circumstances and what your options might be in that type of situation.